Japan, Mexico. What I say is what I say. When do we beat Mexico at the border? They are not our friend. They're laughing at us.
I don't think they like me very much. I don't think they like me very much. We need to build a wall.
And I will have Mexico pay for that wall. I am Donald Trump.
What I say is what I say.
Kai, Donnie, Don, Tiffany, Donald Trump.
The Lincoln Project epically fails. Big Tech receives big questions and gives no answers. Lil Wayne joins Team Trump, and the Democrats fail once again. All that and more on this episode of The Johnny Ray Show. Thank you and welcome back to the Johnny Ray Show. It's the day before Halloween, and as you can see, it's my favorite holiday. I'm sporting a look that I truly hope comes back into style soon. The old Marty McFly look with the faithful digital watch. And speaking of Old Faithful, with just 5 days until the election, the Democrats are throwing everything but the kitchen sink at the right and Donald Trump. But like a spider monkey, Trump dodges and counters seemingly every attack that they throw his way. This past week, the Lincoln Project, you all know them, they're a group of compromised, out-of-work Republican lobbyists who have such a disdain for Donald Trump that they vowed to keep him from being re-elected. They figure they can't work anymore, might as well poach donations from the radical liberal left in some bizarro attempt to stay relevant. Well, they released an ad this past week, and it was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. It attempts, keyword attempts, to paint Donald Trump as some never leave office Hitler dictator. Take a look at this.
Hey, honey. Mommy. You asked me to wake you and tell you what happened in the election.
Who won?
Trump. Trump won.
But I thought you could only be president 2 times.
Not anymore.
Oh my God. Oh, good God. It's particularly funny to me. Democrats are fear-mongering Donald Trump basically being a tyrannical dictator who will just refuse to leave office, as if on Inauguration Day in 2024 he'll say, no, frankly, I'm not going anywhere. As if he's some Henry VIII character. It's funny. So the Democrats have the Green New Deal, which is based on the New Deal championed by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, a Democrat president, by the way, after the Great Depression, and they clearly wish to pack the courts, such as FDR attempted to do when he was president. And following that trend of their idolization of FDR, who, by the way, was the only president to serve more than 2 terms. I mean, FDR did not follow in the steps of the previous U.S. presidents and only serve 2 terms. He stayed for 3 terms and wanted to run for a fourth term and would have stayed in power as long as humanly possible. But Congress passed the 22nd Amendment, limiting the president to only 2 terms. Thank God. And yet, the Democrats think Donald Trump is the president that's going to refuse to leave office. But what the liberals do, they do it best. They deflect and redirect, and when that doesn't work, they project what they want to do on conservatives. Now, speaking of deflecting and dodging, the 3 powers that be, the big tech bros, did some heavy dodging and deflecting this last week as they were grilled and barbecued by the Senate. Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Dorsey, and Sundar Pichai, the owners of Facebook, Twitter, and Google, respectively, attended a Senate hearing over the suspension, the suppression, and the censoring of the New York Post Hunter Biden article a few weeks back. Sundar, I don't know how you say his name, kind of fell into the background early. So, of course, he kind of shied away from getting the brunt of it. And of course, Mark Zuckerberg took even less of a pounding than Jack. Jack Dorsey of Twitter took probably the biggest pounding out of them. And I'm going to go over some of the key points that they did in that Senate hearing. So we're going to start with Ted Cruz, who utterly obliterated Jack Dorsey. Here's Jack telling Ted Cruz that Twitter doesn't have the power to influence elections. Take a listen.
Mr. Dorsey, does Twitter have the ability to influence elections?
No.
You don't believe Twitter has any ability to influence elections?
No, we are one part of a broad spectrum of communication channels that people have.
Wow. And this is where Ted Cruz really shines. He loves, anyone who follows Ted Cruz during these kind of hearings knows that Ted Cruz loves to reel people in, then yank the big catch with the slow burn question, and then bam, the haymaker. So here's Cruz snaring Jack Dorsey here. Take a listen.
Testify to this committee right now that Twitter, when it silences people, when it censors people, when it blocks political speech, that has no impact on elections?
People have choice of other communication channels with which...
Not if they don't hear information. If you don't think you have the power to influence elections, why do you block anything?
I mean, wow. I think Dorsey should have just threw in the towel after that, but he didn't. He continued. He soldiered on like a good little liberal. Now, a little bit later, Cruz brought up the New York Post incident, which was Twitter blocking anyone, and I mean anyone, from sharing, tweeting, or even seemingly thinking about talking about the article. Here's Dorsey explaining how they had a hacked information policy.
Why did Twitter make the decision to censor the New York Post?
We had a hack materials policy that we...
When was that policy adopted?
In 2018, I believe.
In 2018. Go ahead. What was the policy?
So the policy is around limiting the spread of materials that are hacked. We didn't want Twitter to be a distributor for hacked materials. We found that the New York Post, because it showed the direct materials, screenshots of the direct materials, and it was unclear how those were attained, that it fell under this policy.
And that is complete and utter bullcrap. Okay, I'm old enough to remember when Twitter was perfectly fine with users on the left posting, sharing, tweeting, talking about, and shoving it down our throats Trump's tax records like 5 minutes ago. perfectly fine with those hacked materials. Yet, not a legitimate news article from the New York Post. You know, just in case nobody knew, it's a federal offense. It's a federal felony for anyone to post or leak another person's tax records without their permission or consent. And yet, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, and a slew of other liberal media outlets posted for weeks. They're still sharing those tweets, and Twitter does nothing. So that policy is complete sheer bullcrap. Here's Jack telling what the New York Post has to do to get unbanned by Twitter.
Today, right now, the New York Post is still blocked from tweeting 2 weeks later.
Yes, they have to log into their account, which they can do at this minute, delete the original tweet, which fell under our original enforcement actions, and they can tweet the exact same material and the exact same article, and it would go through.
I mean, that is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Oh, so in order for them to get back what they should have never lost to begin with, they have to take down the old tweet, and then they can retweet it. So if you can retweet it, why not just reinstate them? Just unban them. I mean, that's just common sense. This is the stupidest line of crap I have ever heard. And it wasn't just Ted Cruz catching Jack up on the BS, though. Senator Cory Gardner from Colorado tore into Jack over the fact that Twitter is utterly biased in more than just their hacked materials policy, but also their misinformation policy. Take a listen to this.
Mr. Dorsey, do you believe the Holocaust really happened, yes or no?
Yes.
So you would agree that someone who says the Holocaust may not have happened is spreading misinformation, yes or no?
Yes.
I appreciate your answers on this, but they surprise me and probably a lot of other Coloradans and Americans. After all, Iran's Ayatollah has done exactly this, questioning the Holocaust. And yet his tweets remain unflagged on Twitter's platform.
What? You mean Jack Dorsey has censored and flagged and covered up and suppressed Donald Trump's tweets as misinformation, yet the Ayatollah of Iran can tweet saying Israel should be wiped off the map and that the Holocaust didn't happen and they didn't flag it? No way! And of course, Dorsey had zero answer for that except deflect and dodge. Senator Mike Lee of Utah hit Big Tech hard when he asked one simple question. He asked if the three of them could give just one example of a liberal public figure or entity, as he said it, being censored, and none of them could muster even so much as an answer. Take a listen.
Can you name for me one high-profile person or entity from a liberal ideology who you have censored, and what particular action you took?
Senator, I can get you a list of some more of this, but there are certainly many examples that your Democratic colleagues object to when a fact checker might label something as false that they disagree with, or they're not able to.
I get that. I get that. I just want to be clear. I'm just asking you if you can name for me one high-profile liberal person or company who you've censored. I understand that you're saying that there are complaints on both sides, but I just want one name of one person or one entity.
Senator, I need to think about it and get you more of a list, but there are certainly many issues on both sides of the aisle where people think we are making content moderation decisions that they disagree with.
What about you, Mr. Dorsey?
Well, we can give a more exhaustive list, but again, we don't have an understanding of political ideology of our accounts. But
I'm not asking for an exhaustive list. I'm asking for a single example. Just one individual, one entity, anyone.
We've taken action on tweets from members of the House for election misinfo.
Can you identify any example?
Yes, with two Democratic Congress people on election.
What are their names?
misinfo. I'll get those names too.
I mean, come on. You know that he was just completely dancing around that question. You know, he doesn't have any idea if they even suppressed 2 Democrat Congress people on Twitter. That he has no idea. He's either A, he's making it up, and I would think that's probably the case, because I've never seen it. And I've been on Twitter for quite some time, gotten into a lot of hot water on Twitter, and I haven't seen it. So either he's making it up, or B, it's true, and he still doesn't know, because he has zero idea what's going on. Zero. He just floats through making money. So I mean, it's truly ridiculous, the stupidity of how they honestly think that people don't see it, and maybe it's because the liberals don't care. They think it's great because they're getting their stuff posted without problem. So, on to a little more hip news. Rapper Lil Wayne has come out in support of President Trump. Lil Wayne has joined the ranks of other legendary rappers or hip-hop artists such as 50 Cent, Ice Cube, and of course Kanye West, who have either expressed them working with or outright support of President Trump. Lil Pump is another artist who I don't personally know him, but he has thrown his hat in the political ring supporting Trump as well. Lil Wayne tweeted, "Just had a great meeting with @RealDonaldTrump. Besides what he's done so far for criminal reform, the Platinum Plan is going to give the community real ownership. He listened to what we had to say today and assured he will and can get it done." Now, of course, the left has shown outrage for Lil Wayne making this statement, calling him Uncle Tom, a sellout, and of course other racially charged language that I can't say because I'm a white man and I'll be banned off of everything. Just like fellow rapper Ice Cube, I don't think Lil Wayne will be shook by the woke mob into apologizing for complimenting or even working with the Trump administration anytime soon. Or at least I hope not anyway. And finally, the Democrats have a history of flub, faux pas, and foul-ups, but the last few truly take the cake. Joe Biden was at a rally, one of his few. He finally came out of the basement. I guess he finally got the wake-up call that he probably should get out and do some stuff. This is what he had going on here. Let's see what he's got going here.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
What did he just say? Run that back one more time. Let me hear it. Just try and get this.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
Okay, one more time. Let me try.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
I don't know if that was his dementia or if he was trying to speak in tongues in support of Christianity. But whew, that was bad. But even worse goes to whoever it was that announced Kamala Harris in Fort Worth earlier. She said the quiet part out loud.
I was there. I stood up and I was counted. Without further delay, I am so honored to introduce the next President of the United States, Senator Kamala Harris.
Well, if that doesn't scream Joe's out the day of inauguration, I don't know what does. I just don't. I don't This isn't the first time that these liberals have screwed up and said that Kamala Harris was going to be president. I mean, just recently, not too long ago, Kamala Harris specifically stated in a Harris-Biden administration, in whose world is the vice president named first in the administration? I don't know. She didn't even correct herself. Then after that, Joe Biden himself stated that the Harris-Biden administration and didn't correct himself. I mean, this isn't the first time that somebody has said the quiet part out loud and basically all but told people that they were going to basically that Joe Biden is null and void as soon as he takes office, if he does get elected. So I take that for what it's worth. And the sad thing is that people are still voting for Joe Biden, knowing that he's not even going to be the president. The lady that nobody wanted as a president because she couldn't even make it out of the primary. She was like the first person to drop out of the primaries of the Democratic elections. So I don't understand how they plan that to work. I don't understand how people are that slow. I don't know. I give up. I give up thinking about it, honestly. But that's all the time that I have for tonight. I know it was kind of a short segment show, and I do apologize for that. Unfortunately, it's really chaotic. Again, we're trying to move offices, and we're trying to get things organized to where I can give you guys a better product that's constantly evolving. So I truly appreciate you joining me and sticking through the trying and tribulation times of my constant Facebook and Twitter bans. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you click the little bell on the YouTube subscription, because subscriptions don't mean anything without that little bell. The little bell is it's the gatekeeper. So make sure that you click that so you don't miss any of the huge stuff that I have. And be sure not to miss the, again, huge election live stream that I have Tuesday, covering the election results, or at least a portion of the results, since the liberals have all but promised to take months to announce a definitive winner in this election. So I'll have special guests. I'm going to have quite a few people on. It's going to be quite a spectacle. I'll have fact checks, and I will be streaming CNN. I know. I do it so you don't have to. I'll be streaming them to cover all the news that they won't tell you about. So make sure that you're you're subscribed. Make sure that when you get the notification of the live stream that you click on it, share it, like it, comment. I will be taking some comments and questions. And until Tuesday, I hope you have a great weekend, and good night, and of course, God bless.